all the ASEAN agenda should support each other.
To hearing what.
Like any countries, there are always many problems at any time. Chinese economy certainly has some problem, but European, US economies also have many problems. And the way to overcome the problems is development. Because if you develop, you generate more resources and allow you to have more capacity to handle the problems. And so to see the future of China, I think the most important thing is that to look at how many problems you have, is to look at how many opportunities for you to further grow. And if you want to have development, growth, certainly you need to raise the productivities continuously by technological innovation, industrial upgradings. And I think that China has many opportunities with our technological innovation, industrial upgradings, because China is still a middle-income country. And we can further improve our technology and also our industries. And not only so, luckily, China is a large economy with large population, large talents. And in the fourth industrial revolution, China standing on the same starting line with any other country. China also has the most complete ecosystem for manufacturing. And with those three advantages, I think that China will be very innovative in coming years. And so I think that China will be able to maintain 5 to 6% growth continuously in the coming decades. And China will continue to contribute at least 30% of the global growth annually in the coming decades. And it's an opportunity for China. It should be an opportunity for every country in the world. Because in terms of in the catching up stages, very similar. In the late 19th century, early 20th century, when the US was on the process of catching up UK's, the pattern of growth in the US was very similar to the pattern of growth in China today. Similarly, when Japan was on the catching up process, you can see a similar pattern of the development. At that time, certainly, on the one hand, they developed their economy according to their competitive advantages and also with the facilitation of the state. So their product can turn from the latent competitive advantages into the actual competitive advantages and they export those kind of products to the rest of the world. At the same time, that allow them to enjoy the economy scales and to be competitive. They can accumulate capitals, they can upgrade their industries, and turn those kind of process into a continuous dynamic economic growth. And so in the process, you always need to have entrepreneurial spirit, and that depends on the market institution. But at the same time, you also need to have an facilitation government to enabling these changes. I think this pattern is common to all the countries in the world in the catching up stages. And to a large extent, also any country, if they want to maintain their continual growth, even they are in the high income stage, advanced stages, they also need to have those kind of two institutions. So this, I think, is common to every country, including China. China has no intention for conflicts because, as I said, China's development without our competitive advantages. Second, we have competitive advantages. Certainly, we will develop those kind of sectors. We will rely on our domestic market and also international markets. And when we develop according to our competitive advantages, that means there are many sectors which we do not have competitive advantages. And for those kind of sectors, we will rely on the global supply because that will be much cheaper for us to produce domestically. And those kind of development according to competitive advantages is the best way to ensure the dynamic economic growth of the country. China certainly wants to have dynamic economic growth because we want to further raise our income. But if we follow that approach, the growth in China will also generate opportunity for other countries because we'll import goods from countries that have comparative advantages in those kind of sectors. And to make that possible, we need to have a peaceful, rule-based, global system. And China is a supporter for rule-based global system. And if we have conflicts, we can go to the tribunal court or WTO. China has a very good track record. And if there's some dispute, according to the track records, sometimes the dispute is based on misunderstanding or the accusation without basis. So if you go to the track record, you find that between China joined the WTO in 2001 and up to 2015 or 16, when the tension between China and US arose, China was brought to the tribunal court 40 times. China won almost all the cases. A few cases China lost, but China followed the ruling to implement the ruling. So China had a very track record of that. So that's the reason why the head of WTO, China track record can be raised as A according to our practices. And China hope to have that. And in this process, certainly, if there is disagreement, the best way to deal with the disagreement is to follow the rule, follow the practice in the world, instead of trying to use bilateral sanctions. That will be a more civilized way. That will be a way have been promoted before the rise of China. And we should not change that system because China performed too well. Well, I think that should be a win-win, right? So certainly now in certain sectors, we are ahead and we can try to utilize our capacities to benefit our companies, but also benefit other economies. And to have this kind of joint ventures or to have this kind of investment will allow Chinese companies to tap into the advantage of local economies, get access to the local market, and also produce GDP for the local economy, create job and growth for the local economies. When a country reaches a certain stage of development, they started to become a source of foreign direct investment to other countries. Because we see a lot of cross investment among the developed countries, but we also see a lot of foreign direct investment from high-income country to low-income country. And that is a good way to have a better allocation of resources and to allow other people in the world to share the benefit of development. Well, China is very honestly follow all the agreement of the climate change. China already announced we will peak our carbon emission by the time of 2030. We will reach the carbon neutral by the time of 2060s. Almost all the committed from China will be implemented and realized. And to do that, certainly China needs to do a lot of effort because we are on the process of industrialization. And you know that in the past, industrialization comes with the increasing emission of CO2. And for us to change those kind of pattern of development, we need to have a green growth. With the understanding we want to have green growth and green technology need to be developed simultaneously. So China in the past decades put a lot of effort to the development of green technology. And currently China is a global leader in solar power, in wind power, in renewable technologies. Actually, China will become a solution for other countries to have green growth as well in a win-win ways.